It's time to beat the clock. Lights of Broadway, sights of Broadway, sounds of Broadway all around. And there above shines the name Sylvania, pioneering light, sight, and sound. Finer products, better products, tested quality. Made for you by Sylvania, pioneer for half a century. Beat the clock, brought by Sylvania. Beat the clock to entertain you. It's time to play Beat the Clock.
Now here is America's #1 clock watcher, Bud Collyer.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to Beat the Clock, the show where you can have the time of your life playing against time for big-time prizes. Now, if you'll come over here with me, we have a short but very pleasant piece of business to transact right here with Mr. and Mrs. Ralph Fashionpour. Was that right? Mr. Fashionpour, let's see, you live in Warren, Ohio, and did you go all the way out there and come back here again?
We did.
You did? My goodness.
Television.
Well, bless my soul. I sure hope you get it now after all that trip. You've been married 13 years. You have 2 children. Is that right? They're the 2 cute youngsters I saw backstage? Oh, how wonderful. Did we get a little Roxanne doll for your little girl?
Yeah.
Good enough. Glad to hear it. Now, let's see. You have, of course, a bonus, I guess. Well, it might. You can't tell. Anytime the bell rings, you know, we have a new bonus going now. And if the bonus bell happens to ring while you're up here or anybody's up here, they get a chance at it. It's worth $200 tonight. It was missed last week, and each week that it happens to be missed, it will again be worth another $100. Well, now, we'll get to your order of business, Mrs. Fashionpour, which happens, of course, to be our jackpot clock. You've beaten the first night. Now, Mrs. Fashionpour, this is your department, because the wife is the one that always has to carry on the jackpot clock. So, Mr. Fashionpour, if you'll stand kind of way down there, you can't help your wife in any way. You just think good thoughts for her. Miss Fashionpour, I'll tell you when to get up on the platform. And back of this curtain, of course, is our famous jackpot clock, which consists of a magnetic board with all of the words of a famous saying or quotation. They're held there by magnetism, but you can move them around. We want you to move them around because they're all out of order. You got to move them around to get them back in order so they spell out the famous saying or quotation we're after. All of this in 20 seconds from the time I say go. Do you understand? Are you nervous? You look a little scared. All right, here we go. Open the curtain. Step up on the platform. Go. Right. Wrong order. That's right. You got it right now. Come on, quick. Move around. Hurry up. Oh, golly, I'm sorry. Come live. No, yes, you did get it. Come live with me and be my love. You did. Just as the buzzer rang. You almost did, but you did. Come live with me and be my love. I'm telling you, you had made that last move just as about. I thought you didn't have it there for a minute, but the me was in the right place, and that's it. Come live with me and be my love. Come back in, Mr. Fashionpour. She did a good job for you in just the nick of time, though, boy. She scared us all to death. So you've beaten our jackpot clock. It was worth your trip back, I'm sure, from Warren, Ohio. Let's see what you've won. Just take a look over here.
Mr. and Mrs. Fashionpour, your prize is Sylvania's exquisite console, the Montclair, with genuine hand-rubbed mahogany inlay doors. Large 21-inch movie-clear television with surrounding halo lights for the greatest viewing comfort in all television. The Montclair is outstanding in performance and design. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Fashionpour. You have just won Sylvania's jackpot prize.
All right, congratulations to you, too. And take those gifts down, will you? I still had you back. Goodbye. All right, Roxanne, whom do we have now?
But we have Mr. and Mrs. Claude Ford from Watchung, New Jersey.
Well, hi, Mr. and Mrs. Ford. Nice to have you here. Watchung, New Jersey. Just over for the day, are you?
Yes, sir.
And you have children?
1.
Step in a little closer so we can hear you. These are your microphones to talk on. And you're an electrician, I see, Mr. Ford. Is that right? Well, now, let's see. Do we have a problem for you that involves electricity? No, it isn't even shocking, as a matter of fact. It does involve your wife helping you a bit. But I don't suppose anything shocking about that. Suppose you both come over here, see if we can make a few sparks fly. Maybe it'll work out that way. Now, I want you, if you will, please, to lie down, if you will, Mr. Ford, on your back, right on this piece of cloth with your head up there. Your head up there on your back, and make sure your head clears the top of the cloth. I want it sticking out, in other words. That's the boy. Fine. Good. Now, if you will look down the row here, you will see that we have a whole lot of basketballs and volleyballs and everything all rolled up down there. Soccer balls, the whole kit and caboodle. There are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 of them, as a matter of fact. When I say go, here's what you have to do. grab a hold of this edge of the cloth, your wife can help, and roll yourself up, and as you roll yourself up, roll all the balls up with you. In other words, get them all wrapped up, you and the balls all inside the cloth. We'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock. I think, girls, if you move them all down this way just a little bit to give a little extra cloth at the far end there, you see. Not too close, but that's better. Make sure the end ones are down this way a little bit. Let's take a look at the clock, see how many seconds you have. You have 50 seconds to do it, and Mrs. Ford, your problem is to help in any way you can. Principally, I think you'll be most helpful in keeping the balls from rolling out, you know, and if any of them roll out as he gets toward the end, get them quick, get them back in there fast, because they've all got to be in there with him in order to beat the clock. You understand your problem? Are you ready? Go! Come on back over here. That moved you through the $100 clock, Mr. and Miss Ford. Gave you a little spin around. And now I want to ask you something. You say you have one child. How old?
7 years old.
Boy or girl? Little boy. Then I guess you ought to know something about rocket ships, don't you, Miss Ford? Doesn't your kid go around launching rocket ships all the time, doing things like that? You know, the way they go off? Well, we have a rocket ship launcher that we want you folks to try out for us. Will you both come over here with me, please? And we bring out our rocket loading platform, please. There we are. That's just fine. All right, now, Mr. Ford, if you'll step up there with those two lovely girls, Betty and Madeline, have a seat. They'll get you all fixed up, and you'll realize then why you're dressed the way you are. Miss Ford, you can come a little closer and watch while we get him fixed up, because this is kind of fascinating. We get him all zipped up inside there. That's it. Good enough. This being football season, we've made it into a football helmet for you. You can help the girls get that on you, if you will. Don't pull on the tubes. Don't pull it down by the tubes. You might break them off there. That's good enough. That's fine. Looks real great on you, boy. What'd you say?
I can't hear a word you say.
Well, it's just as well, I think. You can't hear a word I say. Now, if you'll just sit there, we're going to place these little rocket ships in here, you see. Like that, kind of. That's the idea. And let's put this one in the other way, shall we? So it's that way first. Okay, now don't tip back to that. That's the boy. Now, what has to happen is we want you to launch these rocket ships so that they go all the way through and out the other side, you see? Get each one of them out of the rocket launching tube. Now, what do you launch them with? We have some special rocket launching stuff right here. Okay, come on back here, if you will. Now, you just aim that whipped cream right at those things and knock all three of them out of there. We'll stop the clock and you'll beat the clock. You know how he'll work this? Press that down and aim this little spigot, you see, so you'll feel, as soon as it gets out there, you'll see where it goes. Take a look at the clock, see how many seconds you have. 40 seconds. We got plenty left for you. Are you ready? Go! I would say, on a career, and the girls will take good care of him. They'll clean him all up backstage and return him to you just as good as new, okay? Good. Now, if you will step down the far end of that platform, you two have worked yourself up to try, not on the platform yet, if you don't mind. We want to wait until we get you all set. In back of this curtain is our jackpot magnetic board. All the words of a famous saying or quotation are there, but they're all out of order. Now, you've got to move them around on the board until they're back in the order that spells out the saying or quotation we're after. All of this in 20 seconds from the time I say go. Do you understand? Okay, Miss Ford, open the curtain. Step up on the platform. Go. Come on, hurry up. You got one missing there. What is it? What is it? Quick, you got a V that's got to go there somewhere. Where's it going to go? Oh, golly, you came so close to it, you knew what the saying was. It's a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, is what it should have been. But you did all right, Miss Ford, because you beat our $200 clock. So you stand right here with me, if you will, and let's see what you've won.
A Speed Queen electric clothes dryer with a new conditioned air fast drying principle, full range of heats, and an automatic time control for whatever degree of dryness or dampness you desire. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Ford. You have just won a Beat the Clock prize worth more than $200.
My congratulations to you, too, Miss Ford. You put your husband up backstage. Bye. Roxanne, who do we have now?
Bud, we have Mr. and Mrs. Charles Hopkins from Albany, New York.
Well, fine. Hello, Mr. and Miss Hopkins. How are you? Miss Hopkins, how long you folks been married? 3.5 years?
That's
That's
right.
what it says on your card. And you have two children, boy and a girl? Wow, you got the jackpot right off the bat, didn't you? And you do what? You're a teacher of what, Mr.
Physical education.
Physical ed. Where? College or school up there?
High school.
High school.
High school and elementary.
Specialize in anything?
Well, mostly elementary work.
It's pretty general.
Yeah.
It covers the whole field of physical education. Well, good enough. And this is a little vacation trip, I hope, for you.
Yes, it is.
Fine. We're going to see what your problem is on the $100 clock in very near future. Charlie Hopkins, I think for what you're going to have to do now, you may have to remove your jacket. You want to take it off and hang it over that hook we have provided right there for you. See it? Mm-hmm. Just hang it right over the top hook, if you will. And then you come over here with me, and Mrs. Hopkins, you can stand right there and just watch him. This is something that you have to do a great deal, and he's going to have to do tonight. Now, would you mind stepping into this? We're having it backwards for you. It's a sleeping bag. We want you to step till you get your feet all the way down on the bottom, you know. That's the idea. There we go. Now, just put your arms down at your sides, if you will, and we'll get this up over you like that. There we go. And you want to fasten up a couple of the bottom buttons here? That's fine. Now, that's comparatively simple, but you're going to have to perform a little operation while inside that sleeping bag, an operation that, well, maybe your wife isn't familiar with it. I don't know, but we'll find out. Would you bring over the other little article here? It's a girdle. It's a panty girdle, you see? It's got two legs in it down there. So what I'm going to do is exactly this. I'm going to take this girdle, and I'm going to slip it down in front of you at the bottom of the sleeping bag. There it is, right down at the bottom there. You got it? Okay. Now, I'll snap up the top button here so that we get you well ensconced inside the sleeping bag. Your wife is laughing like mad over there. She's enjoying every bit of this. You want to come over here and watch him closer? Would you like to? All right, come on over alongside of me. Now, take a look at the clock, see how many seconds you have from the time I say go. In 35 seconds from the time I say go, get that girdle on. Are you ready? Go. Time to waste. Hold your hands down. You stand alongside of me because we're going to have right out of one of the Sylvania Super Flash bulbs. Take a picture of you. You'll have a little record of that now. All right, come on over here with me now, Charlie. Good. Oh, boy. Well, you beat the clock there on that. You can take it off now, Charlie. Maybe Mrs. Hopkins may have to help you a little bit, but you go ahead and give him a hand there. Show him how it's done. Well, incidentally, when we had that picture taken of you, Charlie, you know, we used one of Sylvania's Super Flash bulbs with a blue dot for sure shot. Interestingly enough, 2,400 times that number were used in creating a picture of the tremendous room, the big room, as it's called, of the world-famous Carlsbad Caverns down in New Mexico. And there's a very wonderful article in the American Weekly magazine, be out with your Sunday paper tomorrow, how Tex Helm, that swell photographer, took this picture, the difficulties he encountered, and a perfectly beautiful picture that he got. I advise you to get it and read it, because it's a wonderful thing, the way Sylvania's bulbs did that job. Well, now, let's see. You caught your breath a little bit, have you, Charlie?
Yeah.
Don't think you'd want to wear one of those all the time,
No,
do you?
I wouldn't.
You would. Well, I'll tell you what. We have something now that your wife is going to have to do. She stood by on that one. You stand by on this one. Miss Hopkins, come over here with me, will you, please? And before we go, I have in here a pair of goggles, and I'll show you why we're going to have to ask you to wear them. Now, if you'll stand over there where Betty is, that's the idea, and take that little snow shovel from her. Now, this is a little method that we have worked out to carefully put away dinner dishes after they've been washed. Theoretically, your husband is up here in the washing room, you see, and he sends them down this chute to you. You have to catch them on that shovel. Get any two dishes intact, unbroken, piled on that table over there. We'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock. Now, you must work from that side of this chute. You can't put the shovel in against the chute. You've got to just catch them as they come off. Do you understand? You got to... That's the idea. Catch them as they come off. And to show you how they come off, we'll give you a sample. Let's have one come down just to show her. Hey, that's the way they come, you see? So you'll be all ready. Take a look over your shoulder, see how many seconds you have. 55. Are you ready? Stay at the side. You got to stay at the side because they may... Here. Now, before you do, let's ask you to put these goggles on if your hat's in the way, because in case any little fragments fly around, we don't want any chances of anything hitting it in the eye. That's better. Madeline, take your hat for you. They're not beautiful goggles, but they will protect your eyes, and that's why we have them. Okay? They don't bother you too much, do they? Okay, are you ready? Go! Get over there. Come on. Come on with some more. More dishes down. Hey! Come on, get them down. Hey! Hey! Get it over there. Come on. All right, stop. We'll get your hat for you. There it is. Is that her hat? Yes, that's her hat. Okay. Well, Miss Hopkins, you did right well with that one, I tell you. I don't advise you to put dishes away that way, actually. But in any event, you're the third young lady tonight to try for our jackpot clock. So, Mr. Hopkins here, you can't help at all, as we always have to tell the husband, hold her hat, if you will, and step down over there and just think good thoughts for her. Miss Hopkins, if you'll stand at the far end of that platform, I'll tell you when to get up on it. And back of this curtain is our big magnetic board, you know. It's considered our jackpot clock. All the words of a famous saying or quotation are all scrambled up. Unscramble them. Move them around on the board until they spell out the saying or quotation we're after in 20 seconds. Okay? Open the curtain. Step up on the platform. Go. Hurry up, time's running out there, only about 2 seconds. Oh, golly, I'm awful sorry, Miss Hopkins. It should have been one man in his time plays many parts. Plays many, and away we go, parts. One man in his time plays many parts, but you both did very well tonight. Come on back in here because you now have the order of business of finding out what it is you've won. Let's take a look and see what you've won.
A beautiful half sofa from the Shaw Manufacturing Company of Charlotte, North Carolina. 2 versatile pieces, scaled to average room size, with hair-filled construction for luxurious comfort, exemplifying the very best in Shaw craftsmanship. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Hopkins. You have just won a Beat the Clock prize worth more than $200.
My congratulations to you, too. I hope you enjoy your prize. It's a great joy to us to meet you. Bye. Well, whom do we have here, Roxanne?
But we have Mr. and Mrs. Bernard Fishman from Kew Gardens, Long Island, and their daughter, Carol.
Well, hi there, Carol. How are you? Come on out here. Do you have any brothers or sisters?
No.
When's that tooth coming in there? You got one missing in the front, haven't you, huh? The one up top, though. When's that one coming down?
My mother doesn't know.
She doesn't know? Well, Mama, when you know, you let her know, will you, please? Carol, how would you like to have one of these lovely little Roxanne dolls we had? Would you? Roxanne, come on out here, will you, and pick up one of these dolls and give it. If you're not there, then Madeline or Betty can do it. Here we are. Incidentally, a lot of people have been asking us where you can get these dolls. You can get them at the toy department of practically any store. They're on sale there. How do you like that, huh?
Beautiful.
Isn't that nice, Carol? And you have no brothers or sisters, huh? You don't. Well, there's nobody to fight with. Mr. and Miss Fishman, you live in Kew Gardens. The bonus! You get the chance for the bonus tonight, Mr. Fishman. Oh, boy, come on out here. We'll find out about it later. Girls, bring out the new bonus. They're right here, you Miss Fishman. Right alongside of me here, because the girls have to put this bench out here. And, all right, girls, come on out here. Come on. Madeline, Betty, come here. Come here. The camera's on you. You look bad. All right, now you ready? Everybody ready? Here we go. There we are. Yeah. Thank you very much. Oh, what color they had on that one. Okay, well, now I'm going to untie this little knot we have around the pail here, and then I'm going to show Mr. Fishman what it is he has to do. You see that pail there on the floor? And you see we have a pulley rigged up by which we have fastened the pail, so you can lift it up off the ground with that. Now, here's a bench back here. The object is to get that pail sitting upright on this bench, just the way it's sitting out there on the floor, without touching it with your hands or your body in any way. The way you do it is this. You jerk on this thing, and you toss that pail around a little bit. Get it to move back and forth till it starts to swing. When it starts to swing toward the bench, you manage to get it swinging back and forth and finally wind up with it on this bench. If you do that, we'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock. And you have how many seconds to do it? Take a look at the clock. 45. Take a hold of the string there, boy. It's worth $200 as purely a bonus tonight. Are you ready? Go. That's it. You got it swinging. Sideways now. Get it back here. Get it on the ground. Straighten it out. Let it hit the ground. Come on, I'll start. Attaboy. That's it. sideways on you there. Oh, you swinging. Oh, I'm sorry you didn't beat the clock. The clock beats you, which means, of course, it'll be worth $300 to whoever tries it next week. I'm awful sorry, Mr. Fishman, but the idea is to get it swinging back and forth, and finally, you got to wind up sitting upright on that bench. Okay, that was purely a bonus. Now, you didn't lose the thing by that. You just stood to gain by it. And we move into your $100 clock now. So you see there, honey, Pop didn't really lose not a thing by it. And all right, Mr. and Mrs. Fishman, now this is a little cooperative stunt for the two of you. Will you both come over here with me? And, Carol, you can just stand right there and hang on to your Roxanne doll. That's the idea. Suppose you come on this side of me, Mr. Fishman, since you're already on here. There we are. Now, here we have a little table full of little paper cups. You notice that there are little paper handles on these paper cups. Now, what happens is simply this. You start holding a paper cup, see? Just hold it any way you want, that's it. And then you take one of these and stack it in there. Then you hand the whole thing to your husband. Then you pick up a paper cup and stack it in there. He hands the whole thing back to you, always holding it by the bottom cup. Picks up another paper cup, stacks it in there. You hand the whole thing back to him. You pick up the fifth paper cup, stack it in there, and he hands the whole thing back to you. Wind up with you holding it. We'll stop the clock, and you'll beat the clock. Got the idea? What's the matter? You suspect something coming? What do you suspect?
Cup in our mouth.
You hold the bottom cup in your mouth. How did you guess it? You can't use your hands at any time. That's exactly it. That's what these two little handles are for, you see? So you got to be sure when you grab a hold of it, you hold it upright so that part is up. Otherwise, everything will fall out. Take a look at the clock, see how many seconds you have. 50 seconds from the time I say go. Take it in your mouth. Tip your head way over. That's the idea. You ready? Go. Oh, take it by the handles each time. You take that other handle away from her. Make sure you don't tip it over. That's it. Keep it upright. Here we go for the next one. You don't spill over. Keep that tip way up. That's it. That's it. Only one more to go. Don't tip it now when you do. Bernard, watch it, boy. Watch it. Take that other one in, Mama. Don't tip it over when you do it. You got to take it back from him. Get it back and don't let it tip. All right, stop the clock. Nicely done. Yeah, they did it fine. Mr. and Mrs. Fishman, now we have a little problem for you. Let me see. Do you folks ever do any running around with these big Bobo clowns? You've seen those balloon inflatable things. Well, this is something where you're going to have a little celebration. You want to get all the Bobos gathered together in one area. I advise you to take your coat off. You're going to have to do a little moving around on this one, Bernard. Okay? Just hang it up on that hook over there, if you will, and then just as soon as you get through, come on over here with me. Okay. Madeline, you girls are superb tonight. Greatest thing I've ever seen. Here we have a series of these clowns. You know, if you push them down, they come right back up again, you see? All except one. This one that we're going to stand on this table, that doesn't come up again. Look what it does when I let go. Oh, boy. Now, what you're going to have to do is this. Would you hold that for me, Madeline? I'm going to take these other Bobos, and I'm going to put one of them here, one of them about here, and one of them about here. That's the general idea. Now, all you have to do is to gather each and every one of those Bobos and get them all tossed, stacked, or anything you want on that side of the table over there. They must all be around here, see? But get them on that side so they stay out of your way, because what you do is this. You take a hold of this Bobo, and you let go of it and go to catch this first one and get back here before this one falls off the table. You see? Then you go to the second Bobo, do the same thing, and finally, look where that third one is. Ooh, brother. Take a look at the clock, see how many seconds you have. 45 seconds. Boy, you're going to have to move fast. You might even want to give him a little push that way. Not too much, you know, to knock him off. Are you ready? Go. Oh, goodness gracious sakes alive. Hey, boy. All right, give him a little, you know, the business there. All right, go. Come on, let's get him up here now. Let's get him up. That's the idea. All right, you ready? Go. All right, there's one. There's one. Don't push him too far. Might get him there, didn't we, huh? All right, here now. How we go? All right, you ready? Go. All right, now be careful. Make sure you get him well. Come on! Oh, didn't quite get it. All right, here. Let me take this and we get it out here again for you. All right, there we go. You ready? Go. Oh, hold it. 4 seconds have been used up for tonight. Now, tell me, can you come back next week, Mr. Fishman? Well, this is something, and I'm sure you can practice in your own living room. You can set it up and wreck the furniture, because this will be the stunt you will start with next week as our first contestant. Good luck to you at that time, boy. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bud Collyer speaking for Sylvania, hoping that next time may be your time to beat the clock. Good night, everybody.
This has been a Mark Goodson-Todman production. Produced in association with the CBS Television Network. Roxanne's Gone by Larry Olga. This is Vern Bennett reminding you to tune in every week at the same time for Beat the Clock.